Level 1. The guy who got knocked out. You are 21 years old. You are at a house party in your friend's backyard. Someone you barely know says something about your girlfriend. You push him. He does not push back. He hits you once, and you are on the ground before you understand what happened. You do not remember the second it took. You remember waking up to people laughing, filming it on their phones. The video gets posted that night. By Monday, people at your job have seen it. Your manager does not say anything, but he looks at you differently now. You watch the video yourself, alone, 11 times. You do not recognize your own face in it. The one right before you go down. You have never trained anything in your life. You played some sports in high school, nothing serious. You are 5'10", 178 pounds, and you have never thrown a real punch at another human being. That night, you search boxing gym near me at 1 in the morning. You do not call. You do not go the next day either. It takes you 3 weeks to actually walk through a gym door. The gym smells like sweat and old leather. A coach named Danny looks you up and down and asks why you were there. You almost lie. You tell him the truth instead. He nods like he has heard this exact story 100 times before. He probably has. He puts you on a heavy bag for 20 minutes and does not say much else. Your knuckles are raw by the end of it. You go back 2 days later anyway. You do not delete the video of you getting knocked out. You keep it saved in a folder on your phone labeled nothing. And you watch it again exactly once a month for the next 2 years just to remember why you started. Level 2. The beginner. You train 3 times a week now. Boxing on Monday and Wednesday. Jiu-Jitsu on Friday because Danny says a fighter needs both hands and a ground game, or he is only half a fighter. You get tapped out in every single roll for the first 2 months. A 140-pound woman named Priya, who has been training for 6 years, folds you like a lawn chair every single time. You stop being embarrassed by it around week 9. You start asking her questions instead. She actually answers them. You lose 14 pounds without trying to. Your girlfriend, the same one from the party, breaks up with you in month 4. She says you have become obsessed, that you talk about nothing else anymore. She is not wrong. You do not fight it. You go to the gym that same night instead of sitting with it. Danny asks if you are okay. You say you are fine. He does not believe you, but he lets you hit the bag until your arms give out. You get your first real bruise from sparring in month 6, a purple mark under your left eye that lasts 9 days. You take a photo of it before it fades, the same way you kept that first humiliating video, except this time you are not ashamed of it. You show it to your coworkers. One of them asks if it hurt. You say yes. You do not tell him it was the best you have felt in over a year. Your rent is $1,100 a month, and your job pays $19 an hour. And for the first time in your life, neither number bothers you the way it used to. Level 3. The amateur. 10 months in, Danny tells you that you are ready for an amateur fight. You do not feel ready. He says nobody ever does. The fight is at a regional cage event in a converted hockey rink, 3 amateur bouts on the undercard before the pros. You cut weight for the first time, dropping from 168 to 155 over 11 days, mostly water in the last 48 hours. You feel like garbage the morning of weigh-ins. You make weight by 4 ounces. Your opponent is a 24-year-old wrestler named Marcus with a 2-1 amateur record. You have a 0-0 record because this is your first fight of any kind in your entire life. You walk out to a song you picked 2 weeks ago, and now, hate. The first round is a blur. You remember throwing punches and you remember getting taken down twice. You survive the round. In the second round, you catch him with a right hand that staggers him. And for 1 second, you think you might actually win this. He recovers and takes you down again, and finishes you with an armbar at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. You tap. You lose your first fight. You cry in the locker room for 4 minutes, alone, before anyone comes to check on you. Danny finds you and says one sentence. Everybody loses their first one, and the ones who come back are the only ones who ever get good. You are back in the gym 2 days later, still sore, still swollen, already asking when you can fight again. Marcus, the man who beat you, texts you 2 weeks later and asks if you want to train together sometime. You say yes, without thinking about it. Level 4, the regional prospect. 2 years in, you are 4-2 as an amateur. You turn pro at 23, which mostly means the same gyms, the same opponents, but now there is a small purse attached. $400 to show and $400 to win for your first pro fight. You win it by decision. Your hand actually gets raised this time, and it feels different than anything you expected it to feel like. You start getting recognized at the gym by newer members the way Priya used to be recognized by you. You go 6-1 as a pro over the next 3 years, fighting in regional promotions most people outside the sport have never heard of. You break your hand in fight number 5, a small fracture in your fourth metacarpal that costs you 7 months and $3,200 in medical bills your insurance barely touches. A local sports supplement shop offers you $200 a month to wear their logo on your shorts, your first sponsorship of any kind, and you say yes before they finish the sentence. Your family stops asking when you are going to get a real job. They start asking when you are going to get hurt badly instead. You do not have a good answer for either question. A regional promotion offers you a 4-fight deal, $800 to show, $800 to win, the most money you have ever been offered to do the thing you would do for free. You sign it in the parking lot of the gym, leaning on Danny's truck, using his back as a table. You call your mother that same night to tell her, and she asks the same question she always asks, whether you are eating enough vegetables. You laugh harder than the joke deserves. Level 5, the ranked contender. You are 27, and a bigger regional organization picks up your contract after a highlight reel knockout goes semi-viral. You are ranked 8th in your division inside that organization, the first ranking you have ever had next to your name. Your purse jumps to $3,000 to show, $3,000 to win. You quit the part-time warehouse job you have held since you were 19. You train twice a day now, 6 days a week, and your body starts sending you bills for it. A local news station does a 5-minute segment on you, the first time a camera crew has ever followed you around your own apartment. Your mother records it on the TV with her phone and sends you a shaky sideways video of your own face on the screen. You fight a former title challenger in your biggest fight to date and lose a split decision that the crowd disagrees with loudly. You do not disagree with it as loudly, privately, because you know how close it actually was. The loss knocks you down to 12th in the rankings. You spend 3 weeks barely leaving your apartment. Priya, who retired from competing the year before and now coaches beside Danny, shows up at your door uninvited with food and does not leave until you agree to come back to the gym the next morning. You go back. You fight twice more that year and win both, climbing back to 6th. You have a small following online now, a few thousand people who watch your fights and comment things you try not to read too closely. One comment, from someone you have never met, says you inspired them to walk into a gym for the first time. You screenshot it and save it in the same phone folder as the old knockout video, on purpose, side by side. Danny turns 58 that year and starts talking, for the first time, about slowing down and handing the gym over eventually. You do not like hearing it, but you don't argue with him either. Level 6, the main eventer. You are 30, ranked 3rd in your division, and you headline your first card in front of 6,000 people. Your purse for this fight is $40,000 to show, $40,000 to win, more money than your father made in 2 years at his old job. You buy your parents a used car with part of it, the same kind of car your dad drove you to your first gym in 9 years ago. You win the fight by knockout in round 2, and the arena is loud in a way you did not know a building could be loud. A UFC scout approaches your management team 2 weeks later. The offer takes 4 months of negotiating. You sign a 4-fight contract at 31 years old, a decade after a stranger knocked you out at a backyard party you almost did not go to. Your UFC debut is against a fighter ranked 9th in the world. You lose by decision, your first loss in 3 years, in front of the biggest audience of your life. The comments online are worse than anything you have read before. Danny tells you the internet does not know what a real fight actually costs. You believe him mostly. You go back to the gym the next Tuesday the way you always have. Priya tells you the loss will either end your career or become the reason you win the next 4 fights. You choose to believe her. Level 7. The champion. You are 33. You have gone 5-1 since your UFC debut, and the promotion offers you a title shot against a champion who has defended the belt 4 times. You train an 8-week camp unlike anything before it. 2 sessions a day, 6 coaches, a nutritionist, a sports psychologist you did not believe in until session 3. A press conference 3 weeks out puts you and the champion at the same table for the first time. A room full of cameras and reporters shouting questions over each other. He does not look at you once the entire time, and you find that colder than anything he could have said. The walk to the cage is the longest walk of your entire life. 4 minutes that feels like 40. The fight goes the full 5 rounds. It is scored a split decision. Your name gets read second, then the judges' scores get read, and you hear your own name read a final time as the winner before you actually process what happened. You are the champion. Your purse for the fight is $500,000, more money than every previous fight of your career combined by a wide margin. You call Danny from the cage before you call anyone else. He is crying on the other end of the line, and you have never once heard him cry before, not even at your worst losses. You buy him a truck that same month, the same model as the one he drove you to your very first amateur fight in, except new, and he refuses to accept it for 11 days before he finally gives in. You defend the title twice over the next 2 years. You lose it on the 3rd defense to a 26-year-old who reminds you, uncomfortably, of yourself at that exact age. He knocks you out in the 4th round, the first time you have been finished since your very first amateur fight, 17 years earlier. You watch the replay once, the same way you used to watch the backyard video, and then you never watch it again. Level 8, the veteran. You are 38 now. You have fought professionally for 15 years. Your last fight ends in a loss by decision. And walking to the back after it, your body tells you something your mind already suspected for over a year. You retire 3 weeks later at a small press conference nobody outside the sport really covers. Your final record is 24 wins, 9 losses. You spend the first 2 months of retirement not knowing what to do with your mornings, waking up at 5 a.m. out of habit with nowhere to be. You open a gym with Danny, who is 61 now and moves slower than he used to, and Priya, who has been coaching full-time for a decade. A scared 21-year-old walks in one afternoon with a black eye he clearly did not earn in any gym. You recognize the look on his face immediately because you used to see it in the mirror. You ask him why he is there. He almost lies to you the way you almost lied to Danny all those years ago. He tells you the truth instead. You put him on the heavy bag for 20 minutes and do not say much else. You already know he will be back 2 days later. They almost always are. That is how this always starts. Somewhere else tonight, a different 21-year-old is sitting alone after a party, replaying a video of himself hitting the ground, telling himself he would never actually walk into a gym over something this small. He will. They always do. The cycle continues.